We go. I do believe we are live, so I'll say indeed and greetings unto you, beloved and holy friend. I thank you for joining me again on another conscious evolution. Today's stream topic is going to be about minding the ants, and it has a little bit of a twist that I didn't anticipate. Like, this is technically it's like one of those lessons that the universe teaches you afterwards, and then you kind of feel bad about it. So I set up to do my yoga class, and there are little ant mounds coming through the cracks where usually my yoga mat would go. So I move like my stand back a little bit deeper in. I lay my mat next to it so it doesn't actually crush the little ant mounds. And I feel really good about myself. I'm like, yeah, I am minding these little antsies, and I'm paying attention to them, and I'm making sure I set my things up in a way where I don't crush them. And I'm like, yeah, that's gonna be today's stream topic. We're gonna talk about minding the ants. And I get all of my stuff set up, and I come and sit down to get the live stream going. And I look over to where the little ant mounds are, and I stepped on half of them. Only half. There's still one that's open, but I stepped on half of them in the missioning back and forth to get myself set up. So I don't know how I feel about this whole topic anymore, because it started off with such mindfulness, right? And as soon as my yoga was done, it was go time, and I had to go and do things, and I still stepped on them anyway. And now I'm like trying to process, because I'm obviously instantly attaching it to the whole, species larger than us, trying to be mindful, and then after being super mindful, it goes about other business, and then inadvertently steps on us or something. So yeah, I'm processing this lesson. Thank you. I'll try to be mindful of the ants. I will. I'm sorry that I wasn't uber mindful ceaselessly. Don't have cameras on my feet just yet. Is that a weird thing? Maybe cameras on my shoes. Cameras on shoes would be easier, more doable. Oh, okay. Let me say hi to you, friends. Shan and Kristen and Sam, brother Dan, too. There's JV's name as well, and Louisiana as well. Did the font change, or did I hit my head or something? The font? The font on chat, or the font on the YouTube title? I'm not noticing myself. I hope you didn't hit your head. That sounds bad. Stay safe. Of course, you're talking about ants. Yesterday, I listened to a podcast that talked about bees and ants. Thank you for the mind messages. Weirdly enough, Shan, as soon as I got myself ready for the yoga, like as I was like setting myself up here, I realized, oh, I didn't really put that much effort into trying to feel into a stream topic today. I kind of like slept super late for the first time in a month, essentially. Actually, was able to just sleep a little bit later. That was very nice. But waking up, I started kind of like going about my day, and only when I got here, I thought about, oh yeah, stream topic, and then the ants felt like there was like the universe giving me a lesson. So thank you, thank you, Shan, for putting that into your fractal as well. YouTube looks weird this morning, guys. Did the simulation get reset? How much different is it? Let me know. Maybe I'll recalibrate so I can do it better tomorrow. Hosanna, bless you. So much love and cherry V you too. So many blessings. That sounds like an interesting podcast, Shan. The one of the ants and the bees. What's coming up to me upon thinking about those is the compassion we have for bees these days, right? Like us knowing that our bee populations might be going extinct, and how important it has become to us to actually maintain those species. I'm trying to compare it to 1,000 years ago, the level of lack of compassion. And this is me projecting, of course, but the lack of compassion people probably had, for our little ants and for our little bees, and how that has shifted as well, slowly but surely. Things will get better, right? Did the simulation get reset? It might have, right? That's the joke. That's the weird thing about this reality. Because what we think is reality, then to sleep, and now you know that today, wait as long as me, but today a few things have happened. You've done so, you've done that. And it led us to this moment. But technically, if we want to get weird about it, everything that we know and remember could have been implanted as a memory into this simulation, this brain that you're occupying right now. And you can fully believe that you have lived a long life, when in fact, you have only lived for the last 8 hours, or the last 4 hours, or the last 2 hours. You've only been alive for an hour now, with your language centers intact, with your ability to speak, with your memories of a bunch of people you call your friends and family. Is this too much? Is this too much first thing in the morning? I'm sorry. I have to be mindful of that actually, that it is just, like early in the morning for you friends. Like, bro, I'm just coming into my day. I don't need all of this right now. Let me see if I can get my tripod moved a little bit back. I don't know if that's gonna help with the scene. Sam. All messages. Thank you. Yes. None of them got cut out yet, at least from what I can see. Bless the flesh vehicles. It was super awesome. Joy all messages. Thank you again. I was on top messages, of course. Of course. Thank you, Shan. Thank you for the lovin's. Let me read something worth saying. Like, I still have a bunch of yesterday bouncing around in my head. It's so interesting to me how we can occupy these different states of being. And as soon as you don't, even though you know, like a bunch of significant things were experienced, and you understand the context of that significance. For example, I went meditating again today in the same spot I did yesterday, and I recreated my circumstances. And just to notice in that way the difference in state of being, like looking at a leaf, and even though I know I'm seeing the same things and the same information and complexity is available to me, I cannot access the complexity and information I was accessing just the day before. It's interesting. It's interesting to notice these filters almost like actively rebuilding themselves. And to be honest, I kind of get it. I do kind of get it. Yesterday there was a few moments, especially after I did like the whole cold bath thing, where I was tight. Like my whole jawline and face and demeanor felt very scrounged. Like it was, and maybe there's like a neuronal pattern as well inside my body. And maybe we filter that out because we don't think that tension is necessarily necessary. You put your bathwater on Patreon yesterday. Yeah. Yeah, I did. It's magic water. And it's not bath water. It could technically all water is bath water if you put it in a bath. Double checkmate. Joy. It is water. It is water. And I do agree. Like, this is the other thing, Joy Vive. Now being in this state of mind, picking up that little vial, it made me feel some other way, right? Yesterday it was like magical thinking, and today it's just like the fact of reality. And I'm like, okay, yeah. Like, I always have to convince myself, as my sober version of myself again, that I can. Okay, I get it. It's still weird, but I said it first. Oh, thank you, Joy Vive. Namaste, lovely friends. Hey, beloved Lisa. Kristen's here too, of course. Technically, all water is bath water. Yeah. Yeah, if you put it in the bath, right? Might have been in a bath at one point. You don't know. How many baths have been taken in the world? How much of that water ran back into the ocean? How much of that water then evaporated into the clouds and then fell, from above, became a part of our waterways, went back into a bath? got recycled over and over again. Yeah, you're drinking what gamer girl bathwater. Congratulations. You can't help it. We live as a union. One earth. It's a closed loop, unfortunately. Good morning, lovely humans and giggly mouth. Blessings to you, Duck Dad. I haven't even smoked. I did bring this with me. Remember I told you, friends, I was going to buy myself a new little tool? That's it. Isn't it cute? So tiny. So instead of smoking stuff, by like lighting the top of it, you heat this thing and then it evaporates the THC instead of combusting it. Little cute thing that's going to hopefully spare my lungs all of the carcinogens. Because apparently the THC and terpenes, all of the cannabinoids being evaporated, that stuff isn't actually bad for your lungs. It's the carcinogens that is, the particles, the smoke particles. That stuff is bad for us. But yeah, I guess this is me allowing both sides, because I did notice a big difference in my lungs. Like there was a weird transition where the first 2 weeks I was completely okay. Then week 2, it felt like there was a little bit of discomfort in my chest, and then that went away. And I was like, I wonder if that discomfort is my lungs' way of readjusting. Or is there some sort of tightness or whatever? Technically, most of that stuff gets absorbed anyway, because it's like an oil base. Same thing with like vegetable glycerin and stuff like that as well, also gets absorbed. It's the tar that doesn't get absorbed. So if I can go without that, I feel like I'll treat myself to a little bit of a better lung health. I feel like this one is appropriate, this thing we're saying. I see already more comments. I'll read this thing we're saying before we continue going. You can tell me what you feel about this, especially as it relates to today's stream topic of minding the ants, seeing it as a discipline, a way of life. The discipline to cultivate a way of living in which you observe your own thoughts, in which you are listening to the words that are coming out of your mouth, in which you observe the feelings that are evoked within your body, and to see these things as innocent and simply self-caused. Yeah. The offense we take these days is the thing that's coming to my mind. Right? It's very easy to take offense, especially when our egos are involved. And yet, heard this as a comedy line today. Forgotten his name. His special is called like "I'm Not for Everybody" or something like that. Sorry for getting your name, bro. But he mentions that sometimes we offend ourselves. We end up saying things in our own heads that would be offensive to us if we had to hear another person say the exact same things. And yet we don't assign that same level of blame to ourselves. And I feel, and this is something I noticed with my dad yesterday, that as soon as something is said that feels like it calls attention to a part of ourselves that doesn't want to be brought into the light, that is where the ego gets super inflamed and starts lashing out. And again, in reading this thing we're saying, because that's what it brought up in me, discipline to cultivate a way of living in which you observe your own thoughts. When someone says something to you, right, compassionate or not, in which you listen to the words that are coming out of your mouth, and in which you observe the feelings that are invoked within your body, and to see these things as innocent and simply self-caused. I feel like that last one is the hardest one, right? Admitting that it's self-caused. Like, yeah, technically, I'm doing this to myself. Joy Vive had a line like that yesterday, right? Saying the things that you don't want to have said. Simply self-caused. Innocent, right? You're not, at least I would like to believe, there's no malicious intent sometimes, right? Like we're not trying to hurt each other on purpose. There is a certain level of innocence, like play, right? Like if a bunch of kids play and, they're chasing each other around a jungle gym, and one of them have their foot hooked on a pipe and fall to the ground and gets hurt because the other kid is chasing him and he's trying to get away or whatever, right? Like this level of innocence and play and self-caused, experience in that I feel we kind of forget when we become adults. We assume that people are sometimes more compassionate than they actually are. Or we want them to be more compassionate than they actually are. Compassion. Compassion. Mm. That was weird. It was water flavor, and then it became peach flavor. There's not supposed to be anything in that bottle other than water. I'll take it. All water used to be dinosaur piss. Are we really gonna know? No, we could compassionately think about it though. The compassion of the universe, dude. Give me the same water that used to be dinosaur piss. They lived for like 100 million years, right? So there was a lot of dinosaur piss. Let's just establish that right off the bat. No, please. I don't like Joy V brought it up, right? Again, like if it was so weird to you, then just leave it in the shadows. Let's pretend it didn't happen. Let's just continue forward. And I'm just getting them up. Because if it creates a response in you and you're bringing it up, then it's self-caused, right? I'm innocent here. I'm just a voice board. You friends get to input information into me. I pay extra for dino piss. Honestly, let me see if this is a truth statement. No, I don't think so. I wanted to say that if I could buy a vial of dinosaur piss, I might. I don't think I drink it. I think it would just be novelty, right? Like you see a little vial being held by a clay model dinosaur, like a little velociraptor claw or something. You see my vision? This little vial being held by a velociraptor claw, and people go like, "What's that?" That's a vial of dinosaur piss. Why do you have a vial of dinosaur piss? Because of this conversation we're having right now. Every single person that asks me what that vial is, I get to have this interaction with. So I would that I could see happening still. Oh, Loki, Mel got a new toy, neat. Yeah, I'm happy with it. Right, those buds still have a lot left on them. It's very meticulous. I think that's the thing that I appreciate, because with a pipe, it's almost like you scoop a bunch and then you just burn and you char it until it doesn't want to char anymore, right? And there's a certain catharsis in that, I guess, but it feels very mechanical. Is that the right word? I think both are technically mechanical in nature, but one is like an automated machine. It's like jit, jit, jit. That's like the process. Where with this little thing, I go, and it's probably because of the indoor weed as well. I meticulously use a needle that I pin the bud down with, and then I use a pair of tweezers, and I break away each of those small little, no, I break them, and then I meticulously load them into the little chamber, and I feel so dainty, and like I'm doing something special for myself, and I appreciate that part of it. And this is where my mind went, and I don't know if this is a good thing. I'm not really advocating for this kind of behavior, but as I was meditating, I sat down and I was thinking to myself, how cool would it be if with our VR technology getting better and better, and technically we already have pretty good, inside out tracking. So you can represent your hands in digital space just with the cameras on your goggles, and then to be able to use those hands as inputs on small little arms. So you have like a small little box, and that small little box have a bunch of high-res cameras that has a small little table, and that table has little latches that it can, basically clamp inwards, and then on top of those little clamps are two little arms that you can, through your VR goggles, go into a little box this big and manipulate something like it's your hands. And I was like, yes, yeah, I want one. I want one of those things. And if somebody isn't going to make it before me, then I'll make it, damn it. Because surely people will buy that piece of technology. The biggest thing is going to be precision. I feel like we technically already have all of the technology. We already have the cameras. That's check. We already have the ability to clamp things down. That's check. We already have the VR goggles and the inside-out tracking. I'm not too sure about like the control mapping. You know, that's not my field of expertise. But the arms, the small little manipulatable arms, that's going to be the hard part. Because if you're at that scale, you have like steps. You need very, very small incremental steps. Like on the 10th, no, even, yeah, that could be fine. Maybe even less. On the 10th of a millimeter scale, right? Like very small. Very, very, very small. But surely, as technology progresses, we can have stuff like that as well. Let me know if you think that's cool, right? Because it doesn't just have to be a weed thing. You can like dissect anything. You can. I think there might be something wrong with me. I was gonna say you can dissect bugs, dead ones, of course. You can like painstakingly take their little wings off and then look at it through a little light at the cameras, and you can see the little structures. Okay, it's gonna be a small group of people. There's still one. Surely, there will be a small group of people. Na 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 na. Your choice, Joe. You could be riding the one wheel and not paying for gasoline. Yeah. Yeah. I played 4 hours of Spider-Man in bed with my daughter yesterday. It was pretty awesome. Bless you, bro. I saw a video yesterday of Spider-Man 2, the new Spider-Man game's traversal, and I was like, bro, if I could do that, because like I played Spider-Man 2 on the PlayStation 2, so like 2006 Spider-Man 2 or something, and being able to like between the buildings, I felt like an absolute badass, like unparalleled. I feel like that was so much cooler than just having like a Superman model that can just like through the air ceaselessly. That mindfulness of the buildings and the cool tricks and flips and stuff that you did made me feel so cool. And now seeing with our kids or the kids my age, the kids that were my age right now, right, like 2023 kids born in 2015, get to play games like that, that would melt my brain, yo. Super lucky dudes. And that's gonna be their new norm, right? Like that's gonna be where they start off of. Like at least I get to reference the games we have right now with like PlayStation 1 graphics. The kids that's coming out, you know, in this generation reference, you know, high definition graphics, you know, from the get-go. For them in their future, anything worse than photorealistic is probably going to be bad, right? It's like, oh yeah, that not photorealistic game you're playing sucks ass. Oh, it's like, bro, kids in 2020 would have given anything to play these games, but no, it's bad. What is the name of the crazy little weed device? It's called a Dynavap. Dynavap. Hit me up, Dynavap. Maybe I can get like one sale. It's a pretty cute tool. I don't know if it is that price efficient for what you get metal wise, but it is an engineering, you know, little tool, R&D tool, and it does the job as intended, you know. And like for me, it's the sparing nature of it. Like if I had to roll myself a joint with that bud I bought, it would have already been gone like yesterday. Now I still have like, if I'm sparing 3 days left, it's kind of nice. So I feel like that's the biggest, you know, win with this little device. Whoa, that's not what I thought you're getting, Melt. It's a little, it is very small. Much smaller than I anticipated it would be. Right? When I said vape, this is probably not what you were thinking. But technically, this is what a vape would look like, minus the metal part in the middle, probably, is that part. This is what a vape would look like if it was working with batteries. This would be the battery, and then there would be like coils going all the way around this little ball, and then it would heat up the little material, and then you would have like a mouthpiece up here, pulling air through it like that, through the material, so you can evaporate it. This, instead of doing that, is you are the coil, or you use a little lighter. Then you heat this little outside chamber, and then the air pulls through it. You have a little choke that can like add extra air into the chamber. It's a cute little piece of technology. Again, the way I think of it is this is gonna, one, keep me from smoking carcinogenics, It allows me the tactility of lighting something with a flame. It doesn't have to be recharged. And if all goes well, I'll actually get to keep it. That is my hope. Keep it for years and years. Gift one of my grandkids my Dynavape. Oh, thank Grandpappy. You should smoke this new triple alien Giga Kush that we got at our friend's place. It's like, oh, what percentage it is? It's 99%, Grandpa. It's a marijuana plant that grows as one solid crystal. They have to break it apart with hammers. I take a puff of one of my grandkids' weed and I instantly transcend the physical plane of existence. You know, one of those those fast cuts where somebody starts screaming and it goes, "Ah!" And then there's a boop, dead silence. That's exactly what happens to me. Give Grandpa a hit of the alien kush, and he straight up transcends this plane of existence. Like, oh no, we just transmutated Grandpa. This is the future I want for my grandkids. You know, where they transmutate Grandpa into a next dimension. Oh man, got a new toy. Love is true. Whoa, love again. Don't size shame him. Yeah, Shan. Weirdly enough, like, and that's the thing that I was like shocking to me as well. Like, I also thought it was gonna be bigger, right? But I feel like if it was, it would be too much, because like the chamber size of this is like a tenth of a gram. I think that the max you can pack is like 0.15 of a gram. So it's pretty moderate. Like, it's easy to roll a 1 gram joint, for example. At least it's easy to me. And that usually used to be the case. 1 gram joints all the way. Now this way, instead of smoking a 1 gram joint, I can smoke a small little piece of it. Keep it fresh. And that's the nice thing as well, is like it tastes amazing. Like, that's the biggest win, actually. I should have mentioned that part first. The refrigerator repairman was just here to fix my damn refrigerator. This time, we're ordering all new doors, as they will help. Why? It's 6 months old. All new doors? Maybe there's like some sort of leak. Can't you just like replace the rubber on the outside instead of the whole door? Do you have to pay for the whole new door order? That seems a little bit excessive as well, man. It wasn't Doug. I just had something totally different in mind. Yeah, like especially when I said vape, right? Usually vapes have like batteries and a plastic container and etc., right? Electronics. Good morning, Joe Schmo. Blessings to you, bro. It's nice seeing you here too, man. I know, Shan. I'm being silly. Yeah, I get it. I appreciate you, joking as well, Brother Bear. Trying to gain the power to go and take out the pond stuff in my tiny boat. It's 30 degrees Fahrenheit, bro. That sounds like close to water freezing. Swampy, the goose has found a loving home. That's good news. Bless. She's stuck. Wait till next year, JK. Is there a day in the forecast that's a little warmer that you can do it? Those pumps get ruined if they freeze over. Yeah, so I got to get it out. I was like thinking that as well, bro. Like, if the water, freezes over and your pump is still spinning, especially. I think even if your pump isn't spinning, like, I'm trying to imagine the physics of like water inside of the pump. Does it also expand? It does, right? Could probably break it or snap the housing. There we go. Maybe compassion tastes like peaches. Weirdly enough, that does sound right, doesn't it, Shan? Compassion would taste like peaches. I can definitely see that. Let's see if it's still there. Not really, but I can bamboozle myself into thinking so. Oh, how about this peach-flavored water I'm having? That didn't work at all. Huh. Am I smelling peaches right now? No. My brain is like, oh, y'all? Oh, y'all? I can try? Friends, whose names? I'm too lazy to type out. Much lovin's to you. Lovin's right back to you, dear friend. I got you, Duck. I wish you the very best on your mission then, my friend. Bless indeed. And she's here too, going back to sleep. Rest well. How's your rooster, Joe? I think there might be something wrong with me. Sweet dreams, Nancy. She loves swinging and doing the science puzzles. This is the older Spider-Man on PS4. I'm sure it's still pretty good, man. Like again, in comparison to the PlayStation 2 version, I think it's gonna be A tier. Joy, Rooster seems pretty comfortable here. The rest of the animals are still getting used to him, but it's all coming together smoothly. Bless. $129, Yossi. That's not the one I got. I think the one I got was 70 or 80 bucks, which is still a lot of money, to be honest. Right? I definitely did get marketed to. Felt like the universe was like, yeah, we'll buy some time there. Right? I felt like I wanted to give myself a gift for managing through the whole sober October. But yeah, there's like a part of myself that has that willingness to have buyer's remorse of being like, bro. And I'm like, dude, I'm gonna use it for 10 years. So on a 10-year time frame, it's like cents per day that of owning this thing. Like small cents or fractions of cents even. And I'm like, yeah, okay. All right, fine. Okay. Triple alien giga kush sounds fire. It does, right? It does actually sound good. I don't know if I'd want to smoke something that's 99% crystal though. Like that sounds like I'm going down the dark lane. That's good news, Joe. I'm glad all the animals are doing good. You're doing okay yourself. Mel, are there different time zones in South Africa? Nope. Technically no. I think we could have one, but we don't. We just do one time zone for all of South Africa at least. So excited for you, Mel. Definitely think it will be a super beneficial device for you. Absolutely. And I feel like the biggest thing is how it forces me to slow down. Right? Like again, like with a pipe, I could probably get my pipe stacked and be smoking in like 5 seconds. Right? Like oh, smoking it. This is not that kind of device. There's no 5 second load time. There's like a certain level of finesse that we have to have. And I appreciate that. I think it can be a little bit sketchy looking, that I also admit. But I know what I'm doing. Being mindful of myself. That is nice. Yep, that's the one. That's gonna do it. Woo! And that's it. All of the THC. Have been transferred from the bud into me. I accept this experience with an open heart and mind, a willingness to be present with my friends, and calm with where I am today. Yeah. This is supposed to be a calming strain. Again, the soap. Shan sent me a screenshot of it having 1,447 reviews. It's supposed to be calming. I saw it on the little, definition or strain characteristics as well. And now that I know that, usually I'll like maybe like feel something and I'm like, okay, yes, I am feeling something, but I won't actually be able to pinpoint it. It's probably some placebo effect in there somewhere, but I mean, the power of the mind, right? Of our compassion, our willingness to think something differently. Joy Vive, today is a beautiful day. It's warm and windy, with sunny skies and a low-key schedule. Life is good. How are you on this lovely morning? Thank you for asking so lovely. But the Judge Mo. The freezing makes things expand. Yeah. Hell on the gaskets. Bad gaskets mean power lost and leaks. Main pump. Found it is $2,000. $2,000. Weren't we just calling me out, Duck Dad, for spending money on things? Why? Oh, why $2,000, bro? That seems a little bit excessive, no? 40,000 Rand for something that pumps water. Have you seen those pumps that use a coil of hose pipe? And then it gets turned by like wind energy or something like that. You can do that. And then it like just turns that pipe and it uses pressure to pump the water out of the pond or something. I don't know if that's what you use it for necessarily. Maybe it's like an aeration pump or something. I'm doing all right. My Robovac killed my full-length mirror. Yeah, I'm so sorry about that, Joy Vive. I'm feeling some things, imagining that happening to me, right? You wake up, or even, you know what's worse? Like my first fractal was you wake up, you walk outside, you see broken mirror. Reverse. You hear a mirror breaking, which wakes you. You come outside and you see your Robovac did it, right? So maybe there's like the one is like, instant disappointment because now this thing's broken. The other one is visceral fear and then some relief because at least you're not getting murdered today, you know? But I'm so sorry, Joy Vive. That sucks. Like the pieces, the little shards. Is your Robovac okay? I hope so. Right? Would be a bummer if he died in the attack of himself as well. I reluctantly replaced it yesterday. It's not always helpful getting a good look at yourself. Yeah, it is. It is very confronting. Is that the right word? I also feel a little bit more confronted these days when I look in the mirror, and yet I am feeling like I've reached, especially yesterday with like the work I was trying to do, I feel I've reached a point of acceptance. You know, like, it's okay where you are right now. Right? And I feel like the thing for me is as well as the immediacy that I would like when it comes to like the physical journey. And because we like that immediacy, we almost forget about the long-term aspect of having a body. Right? Like you're gonna be in this body for X years, whatever X is for you. And we should live like that's the case. That we're going to have time to get good, if you will, whatever that means to you. And I feel yesterday I really made that point clear to myself. Not only do we have time, but time is going to become different. Right? Like this is like the big thought that I came to yesterday that I haven't been able to process in a way where it makes proper sense. Especially not when you're trying to communicate it from a psychedelic perspective to a potential sober one, right? Because yesterday again showed me how much time there is in a single day if you're actually present for it. And it sounds so cliche, I know, bear with me, right? But sitting and looking at a leaf for an hour is a much different length of time than sitting and watching a movie for an hour. Why? Right? Why? I mean, is it the frame rate, as in sets of things happening differently over and over again? Right? And standing and looking at a leaf this close to your face, like you're isolating the outside world and the dance of movement to just this single set of information. And that changes our experience of time, right? Where maybe in the future, that state that is induced in our minds. And you know what the weird thing is? And like, I don't know how I feel about this. We might make life feel worse to experience more of it. Because you can also have that time slowing down effect with like pain. And maybe in some way, staring at the same thing, not allowing yourself the stimulation of the ceaselessly moving world is painful. And then it's up to you to still find the love. Right? And it's weird how the psychedelic experience allows you almost like more depth to the love that's already you. Like it's, I don't know if that's the right way to phrase it necessarily. Let's say the depth is already there, right? But you are more willing to swim down. Does it make more sense? I don't know how to frame this. Because we all have this deep ability to love things, right? The most mundane things. A little ant carrying eggs to the next little nest, or maybe stealing another ant's eggs, probably, to turn them into little slaves. Ants are freaking insane, yo. Talking about minding the ants. Ants, bruh. There's so many of them. They outweigh us in biomass significantly. They're the ones keeping things in check. So much information being moved around by them. And you get to see stuff like that, right? Because we already know this now. Like usually to a normal human being living 2,000 years ago, if you look at an ant, you see one thing. And now because of our global perspective, us knowing that there is like thousands of different ant species, I'm probably far off, it's probably tens of thousands or whatever, but thousands of different ant species alone with like different ways of building nests, different queen looks, different, some have wings, different colors, different shapes, different shades. Some of them cultivate, they grow fungi in their nests. Some of them basically keep little amphids as cattle. They keep them safe and they eat their sugar-rich poop. And there's like so much depth that we now know about this stuff because we have access to it. And by minding it, minding the ants, realizing that there is so much more depth to that little creature than just the one thing walking around. It helps us, I feel, at least in my mind, reestablish the importance of seeing more than just the one person standing in front of you sometimes. Right? Not only in the whole fractal of this is just one person, but the multiple different people that they've been, their hopes and their dreams, the different people they are to different people. That one really messed with me yesterday as well. Right? Really thinking about how you can go from a conversation with your family, your spouse, each of your kids, then a stranger, and then a different stranger that you know from somewhere else, and then two strangers that you wouldn't really want to meet each other and how you talk to them, right? And if you didn't know better, and if there was some sort of voice modulator, you would literally think it was different people every single conversation. I don't know if that's inducing social anxiety. That's the first thing that came up in my mind. I'm like, oh my goodness, who is someone being when they're being someone with me? Who are you summoning as right now? And I feel that's one of the jokes about human conversation as well. Is because it does become this loop of both of us assuring ourselves that we are both people and that we are peopling. You people in this way. How about this way that we people? How about the environment influencing our peopling behavior? And then the person says something that makes you feel, they're like a people, like me. And you go, oh yeah, well, actually, I have this story about this other time that I people. Oh man, and it's true. But I wonder if ants do that to themselves. Do they keep referring or referencing the fact that they are an ant? Is it a massive honor and duty that drives them? Is it just instinct, them following chemtrails, left by themselves? Like I'm imagining ants that all just live solo, like little adventurers. As soon as they're born, old enough to leave, they just go out there. They eat what they find. Things that find them eat them. And then imagining each and every single one of those ants having a full state of being, a story, a train of thought, an interpretation of the world and what it means in every single moment. And some of them have positive stories that they tell themselves. How lucky they are to be on this adventure. How grateful they are for the little pieces of food they find, the drops of dew on the bottom of grass. And some of them tell themselves sad stories about how it fucking sucks being an ant. Yeah, there are things in this world that transcend your frame of being, that are so big that they unconsciously step on you and you die. And there's only bad food, pieces of mush that just keep you alive. And they live horrible lives. Both of them are anting, both of them are eating. I wonder if they have stories like that. I really do. My hopeful, romantic side of this way of thinking really thinks it does. Right? Because have you ever held onto an ant? Not trying to kill it, just holding onto it, right? Like if for instance, if there's ants climbing up my legs, I'll start picking them off of me, right? So you can like grab an ant, especially the ones we have here, like little big, rough ones. Pick them up and hold them by the sides. He doesn't like it. He doesn't like it at all. He's like, please leave me alone. You know, sometimes he'll bite you, right? Like imagine something the size of the Empire State Building, probably even bigger, picks you up. Its fingers grasps onto your side bodies, two of your fingers. And you go biting this thing. That's some tenacity, right? That's a will to live. That's real. And yeah, is that just instinct? Does it want to live just for the sake of living, or does it want to live because it enjoys being alive? How do we know? I wonder if we can brain scan the ants as well. Inference information. The problem is language. The problem is language, right? Because that's where I might fall short completely. Because there's a part of me that assumes a story that goes into the articulate, right? Like the stories we tell ourselves. And that is a certain level of responsibility. But an ant doesn't speak our language. They do have the ability to communicate through chemicals. I do believe there's some of them that do have some sounds as well. I think that's the thing that's fascinating me the most right now. You know, being into AI. I'm sorry. I know that verb makes people cringe at this point. We should call it something new. Saibi. Yeah, Saibi. Saibi is going to eventually probably help us figure out a lot about the ants as well. And I feel like that could maybe allow us to be a little bit more compassionate. Watched this AI talk recently about the fact that we want to use AI for the benefit of humanity. And that should be the hope for it, of course. But that we should talk more about how we can use AI for the benefit of our animals as well. The creatures that live on this planet too. Weirdly enough, one of the things that sounds like a good idea in my mind, but I don't know if it's more dystopian than not. Racehorses will kind of like be put into a stable, right, during night. And they won't be just instantly asleep. They'll kind of like stand there in a stable, right, looking at like walls. Wouldn't it be better for them if they had VR goggles? Right? I honestly believe the horses are gonna love it. I do, like sirs. I believe the horses will love it. Uh, because we want to have experiences. Is that a love of life? After meditating today, I walked through the little, patio, and all of three of the cats were laying in a little triangle. And one by one gave each cat pets. And just seeing the difference in how they experience. Connections of little souls that maybe even transcend our own. Have you ever considered that? That maybe during this time in history, human beings are one of the lower entities on the earth. And that we have these little angels that live amongst us, that love us, that don't get angry with us the way we get angry at our own friends and family or other people. But because we're not minding them, we're taking care of them sometimes. We're not minding them, not being mindful of them in the same way that we can be very mindful of our egoic selves. I'm tripping myself out right now because I'm looking at the dogs and then I'm trying to imagine as they're looking in a certain direction and inferencing what that information looks like, what it would look like looking through their eyes in this very moment. Portal technology. What do they call it? Remote viewing? Apparently, there's people that say that there are aliens on the moon because they've remote viewed them. I don't know about all of that, but I'm sure there's a lot more power in this universe than we give it granted for. Another thing that I hope this society will help us with, rediscovering lost knowledge. Oh, and have we lose some? So much. Well, now I'm going to be marketed to because I'm gonna buy one. It's perfect for my needs. You're gonna have to do dry leaf, or they do have like apparently a coil for extra monies, where you can put some wax in it, apparently. I don't have access to that stuff, so wasn't for me. But the dry flower method, really works, especially like taking a moment, and it is technically microdosing. Like it's going to be significantly less than, just hitting like a THC vape. And you'll probably end up saving cash, realistically. Mm-mm-mm-mm. I feel for you, the one, but cold, wet is never fun. I just bring an extra shirt and gloves and then leave the heater running. Bless for the bear. Hope you stay warm, man. So interesting that your whole country is on the same time. We have many different time zones here, but the US is super massive landmass. It's true. That is something that's like very odd to me as well, to imagine that if you have friends that live on the other side of the state, and you're living in California, like you might be up, or they might be up, for like 4 hours, and then they call you and it's like 5 a.m. for you or something. Like that almost like transcends my mind's reasoning of like, what? You're doing what now? stop that right now. Yeah, it's easier having just the one time zone. It goes like through Harare as well, through Zimbabwe. It's like very central to like the bottom of South Africa. So we just kind of like go for the one time zone. Like the thing I was thinking yesterday as well, thinking about the daylight savings that you friends are having, is how it's technically a spit in the face of nature. Hear me out. Hear me out. Usually, we used to rise and fall asleep with the seasons and with the light coming and going. And now that it's winter, or yeah, it's winter for you friends, now the sun is coming up a little bit later, which means there's longer periods of darkness into the same morning hours that would usually allow us to just sleep in until the day heats up a little bit, right? Because that's how it used to be. And then instead of letting us do that, they were like, nah, actually, now I think that's how it works, right? Now it moves back a slot or forward a slot. It doesn't make any sense. Which, steals from you in that way. It's like it makes it a little bit reversed. At least that's the way I was thinking about it. Maybe I'm completely wrong, right? I understand it, like I understand it from an efficiency perspective, right? Like it's good for that if you want to make more monies, but I don't know if it's good for our human experience necessarily, or the way that we used to sleep. Oh, country, Jobo. I love my joints, especially since I don't smoke cigs anymore. They take the place. I get that. I don't get smoking cigarettes. I get the weed smoking experience, especially since I have like a very meticulous ritual for that experience as well, like the writing of my messages and the runes, blessing the joint, the intentions that I have for it, and then smoking it. Like there is that, like that's what it's about for me again, and that's why I roll my own. Like I would never buy a pre-roll joint if I have a choice. Like, but it is a matter of convenience these days, right? I feel like that's also a big thing. It might be convenient to smoke a joint instead of like the cigarette ceaselessly. Mm-mm-mm. Joe, if I drive 30 minutes east, it's 1 hour later, lol. I can't smoke a joint without it shredding my throat. Yeah, this doesn't touch your throat at all, fortunately. I worked construction in the Illinois winter for a year, and when I would bitch about the cold, the boss would always look at me and say, if you're cold, then work. There's heat in those tools. I mean, it does have a point. Like, you can technically generate heat by moving your body, but, bro, yeah, you can also, go running and then eat yourself up like that as well. Again, the thing for me is that I have absolutely no frame of reference what your friends is cold is. I think that's the thing that's making me laugh. It's like I have felt the level of lethargy and like hell nah, I ain't going outside in my life that I would feel is tolerable. I would be like, nah, I'm not going outside. I've reached that critical mass of I am no longer going outside. I don't care. And in South Africa, we barely reached that point. Barely reached that point. Like I felt it a few times in my life. You friends have that every freaking year for like months at a time. That breaks my brain. Snow. Like, and it's weird that I've been thinking about that, especially these days. Like, again, it's probably that movie, A Man Named Otto. He like shoveled his driveway every morning. That's the first thing he did. Shoveled it perfectly clean. If it had snow on it, of course. And just how that is such a foreign concept to me. Like it looks like I'm looking at something that's made up. It's like this is like some story that I'm being sold. Oh y'all, perfectly white surfaces fall from the sky, and you scrape it away with a long ass scooper plastic shovel thing that I've never seen in my life. I've never seen one of those. Just think about that. I've never seen one of those things ever. They don't exist here. Like the mass of those things existing, you know, like the line is this long in America, and it's infinitesimally small here. It's like we're looking into a different world, and we live in the same planet right now. Bless your powerful, warm beating hearts. Ain't no heat in a pair of soaking wet channel locks. Oh no, he was a liar. Scarf looks super good with that shirt, right? The colors do clash and mingle perfectly. Thank you, JV, for dressing me. Dear beloved friend. I work construction. I think I've read that one. Heat in the tools. JV, that's a tough one. Amelt. That pond has 4 pumps. Okay, this is 2K pump. Is also a floating fountain. Makes sense. No injuries, I hope. Joy, that robot needs a time. Robots are destroying everything. They take, I heard on ants yesterday, is that ants do not have individual souls. They have a collective soul. Unlike us, humans and animals, they have a mission, and that's what they do. But still, important and necessary creatures. A collective soul, right? Like the whole hive houses a soul. And then if that hive dies, that soul transcends. I'm trying to imagine what that feels like. Right? Just think about it from, again, oh man, things are coming back to me from yesterday. Because I did that. That was like a part of my meditation as well. I went like Slav squat with my arms on my knees, and I looked at ants walking over things. I looked at some centipedes and stuff as well. Shongololos. Small little baby shongololos even. And I was imagining how these little insects can technically be seen as like data entries into something that is experiencing. So now imagining an ant colony as a collective soul, I'm seeing like this like oscillation of breath, of experience, of feeling, of sensing the world, and it being like all of the ants coming out and foraging and then coming back to the central, you know, inner self sanctity experience, right? And going out there. That completely changes my perspective on ants. Thank you, Shan. I like that as well. I really like that as well. You know, I can hold both. I can hold both because in the same way, we are maybe these individual fractals of a collective human soul, human consciousness experience as well. Like there is a higher dimensional fractal of humanity evolving consciously as well right now. And it's happening through every single one of us making conscious decisions, learning lessons, right, the hard way sometimes about who we want to be. And that feeding into this larger thing. Kartha's here today. I was thinking about you recently. I wanted to send you an email. It's nice to be here in this moment with you. Dear friend, I need some words of wisdom. I need you to dig deep and touch the soul right now. Kartha, I've already been here with you, bro. I'm seeing butterflies. If you're interested in butterflies right now, maybe I can make a work of art and see if that work of art inspires something in me. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, let's create a butterfly called Kartha, flying over a beautiful field that have flowers that look like spheres, glistening in technicolor. The butterfly is a centering piece, a little bit off to the left side, creating a sense of depth between the butterfly and the field it's flying over. Okay. I was starting to see one of those multi-eyed, biblical aliens. Please, please. Showing the change, brother pair. The change is necessary sometimes. Uncomfortable. You think it's comfortable? Transforming? No. No comfort. So much work. Yeah, this work of art is already so beautiful. Scoop doop boop doop boop. Here's one of them. This one is sick of. Yeah. I like this one too. This one is like some magic butterfly. This one is so beautifully simplistic. This one I can see, hanged up somewhere. Love is true, Kartha. You're gonna be okay. Something my dad has been saying that I do actually agree with. Keep smiling. And if you can't keep smiling, keep breathing. That's all we need to know. Right? We get really in our heads and we get far out and we see the future, and we have that ability as human beings to not only see far out into the distance, seeing those mountains all the way out over there, but we can see out into the distance when it comes to our future as well, projecting out there. Oh, that's my life. That's the life that I'm going to live. That life there, I'm going to live that life somewhere. But this is the life you're living, right? It's right up close. It's like right here. This is the life that you're living. And it is a transformation, realizing that, like, yeah, far out, and oh, you're past, but here is the intersection point that we all find ourselves within. Remember that, and you'll be so fine. We're going to be so fine, dear Kartha. Keep on keeping on, dear friend. So interesting. Font is 4 times. Important and necessary. Interesting hive mind, right? Melt is anthropomorphizing. I was so anthropomorphizing those ants. I thought it was very interesting. The question is, do ants feel pleasure? Will not be answered ethically. Yeah. No, probably not. My mind going into all of the how to and all of it being like, oh, oh. There's just visceral shock. Forgot to tell you guys, I'm extremely excited. Animals can't consent, so no giving the horses VR goggles. I mean, if the animal instantly throws the goggles off of its face and it's not strapped to their head against their will, right? Maybe you can have it like a VR goggle that it has to push its face into, right? So it can at any point just pull its head away and have its environment that it's in, or it can walk forward and stick its head in the enclosure that has screens that it can see an environment with. Maybe it can like literally. My brain is evolving. I can feel new connections being made right now. The horses will probably know the other horses in the pin with it, and they can model those horses, and then they can play multiplayer games in environments with their horse homies that they run with every day. I want 100%. 100% is a little high. I 80% believe that the horses will keep consenting to play VR instead of just be in their pins, right? Like for safekeeping or whatever, or maybe it's snowing outside, right? So you have to keep them warm. Play VR. Play VR horses. They'll consent. They'll consent. Very clever. Inside the mind of an ant. Bless. Fall back and spring forward. So we're losing an hour. Losing an hour, yeah. I forgot to tell you guys, I'm extremely excited. Tonight I get to pick up my custom feet orthotics. I wonder what walking without pain will feel like. I look forward to you finding out, Brother Bear. Today? Tonight, yeah. So tomorrow you'll be able to give us an answer, hopefully. I'm just imagining Doc Dad putting his orthotics on that same night. He's not going anywhere. He doesn't need to wear shoes, he's inside. Puts on his orthotics. walks. Walks back and forth. Walks back and forth. Yeah. How about this walking we're having? And his like wife is like, come on, bro, we need to go to sleep. You can walk with your orthotics tomorrow. Now sleep time. Tuck that. Walks a few more times. Finally takes them off. Let us know, Brother Bear. I'm so stoked for you as well, man. That's a blessing, Tuck. I'm happy that you're taking care of yourself. This is the way. A whole new level of comfort is on its way. You feel your feet will be happy, Doc. It might have some time to break them in, but it's so worth it. People ask, do you like winter? I always answer, no, thank you. It's a terrible joke, I know, but it makes me giggle. Weirdly enough, I don't think it's a terrible joke as much as I think it's a silly answer, right? Because I feel like it can be interpreted in two ways. Like, do you like winter? It's no, thank you, which sounds like no, thank you, which would be the answer you don't want. But technically, what you said is snow, thank you. So maybe you do like winter. So depending on their current state of mind and their humor, maybe you can bamboozle them. I like that one. Keep using it, Joshua. Melt. I need some words. Love again, Kartha. Love is true, bro. Whoa, heaven, let your light shine down, collective soul. I was saying to you, the podcast Melt, it's super synchronous with both yesterday and today's topic. Please do, Shan. Maybe if I have some time to just sit, I'll listen to it. It's something in specific going on, Kartha. Care to open to the group of discussion. You should hide a cocoon somewhere in the piece showing the change. I should have read that before searching it. Let's see if I can do that actually. Four looks so special. So I'm gonna evolve number 4. And then I'm going to add the shed cocoon laying on the ground. Shen time, cheers. Don't be late. I'm a little bit late for it. I'm on 74% of my battery though, so synchronous for some things at least. Let's see if our work of art has been generated. thinking a little bit too hard for my liking about it. There we go. It's like, dear friends, the robot uprising is upon us. My art hasn't been spontaneously generated. I had to wait multiple extra split seconds. Heed me, heed me. Hide your kids, hide your wife. Let's see. I'm not seeing the cocoon taking shape just yet. I might have to design from the ground up instead of reusing something. I mean, these ones look really good, but they're not right. They're not right. This one looks nice. I like the color use on this one. No, please. No inceptioning. This one is my personal favorite. Hot damn! Like those little bloom squiggles. That does something for my brain. My brain is like, yes. And these little purple and this little squow. Yes, 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 yes. Hey, Murara. I approve. I'll have that one. I shall put it in my pocket. Okay, and then we'll remake. We'll remake one. I am calm and present. Super patient, copy text. There we go. Do. Imagine. Let's see. I want to see cocoon, please. So beautiful, Mel. No, you. Right? Again, and I'm going to keep saying this. Every single piece of art you've ever seen is a reflection of you. In fact, so else is everything. The beauty you see is the beauty you are. As you change the way you see the world, apparently, so you change the world you see, right? So, thank you, dear friends, for offering me your eyes to see the beauty. I'm still not getting any cocoons, yo. This one has like a kind of this vibe of transformation because he looks like he's getting melted by the environment below. It's kind of eerie. Really found its groove with that other style, but these ones still feel a little bit. I mean, I wanted to say basic, but this use of contrast is amazing. These things are getting better, Like that wasn't hard, right? That wasn't so hard. Let me try just like right from the base. Emerging from a cocoon, a butterfly breaks free and embraces a world of beautiful melting flowers, symbolizing a deep state of transformation and the willingness to show up for this new life. And see, that'll do it. Make the cocoon a part of the story. French toast sticks always makes me laugh because I didn't catch the reference for 2 months and I thought you guys really liked having French toast together. Yeah, that's our cult thing. It's like, so what is your sacrament? We eat French toast sticks. at exactly 11:11. Like what? You're you're doing what now? Don't tell anybody. That's so much French toast. I mean, would it be bad trying to think of it, from a calorie perspective? It would be protein and carb rich. Maybe there's some balance in there. I don't know if every day would be advisable though. I'm still not getting what I'm asking for necessarily. Actually, I might be mistaken. These feel a little bit more scary, but I think it actually does capture this one especially. I'm going to show this one first. This idea that maybe Cartho wanted to see. Hot damn. Look at that. So the cocoon is a massif, covered in flowers, and it's bursting out of it. Right? That's some magic freaking butterfly. This is the one I feel is the perfect one. This one feels a little bit more. I feel bad for the the butterflies. This one feels also like it tried to capture that massive cocoon energy, but this one feels like that thing came. That's like a demon butterfly. Like the melting flowers, they really. I didn't think like it would be scary. I don't think it would be scary. Uh, and this one also, like some of these flowers look like little butterflies. So cool. I think that cocoon one is the one though. Mm-mm-mm. We can thank Amara for the French toast fractal. I almost never eat them, but I always want them. Amara likes them too. Awesome. Something that she'll eat at least. I was a really weird fractal until someone explained it. I totally like French toast as well, but every freaking day, Kristen seeing the 11:11 as French toast sticks, it still cracks me up. So much love. How about this walking we're having? It's just like you know exactly what's going to happen. So, Brother Duck, this is like one of those things where it starts getting into like the world of pretension, or I feel pretentious in saying stuff like that. But that experience where I project my consciousness forward and look through the eyes of another being to see from that perspective what it's like to look into the world is something that I've been doing since I was a little kid, right? Since I was like a 6-year old, I would do the same thing with my teachers and look through their eyes at myself sitting at my desk. And sure, maybe it was just imagined, but that level of imagining has made it possible for me to code switch with people's minds to go, and then in that code switched mind, with a certain level of realizing that we're both human and there's certain traits inherent in us that keep being repeated no matter who you are. There's a certain level of inference that I can make to understand how things are going to happen or how a person might react. The problem comes in when I'm wrong. Then it's like that's where the novelty comes in. And weirdly enough, with like the Cytron scene, it gets a little bit harder because then because of that extra level of interconnectivity that's happening on that person's side, they they hit you with things that you don't expect, right? Like they aren't thinking like a normal day-to-day human being. That we all technically are for the most part. And it's so novel. And you friends have that level of, wild energy to you as well. Some of the layers might be pretty predictable. Some of them, but not all of them at least. Uh, New feet. Like when Lieutenant Dan from Forrest Gump got new legs. So happy for you, Doug. Bless. Showing the change. Love is true. I hope that you liked it. I don't know if you're still here, Cartha. French toast sticks always makes me laugh because I think I've read that one already. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. I don't skimp out on breakfast. If someone is making French toast, there's going to be a fruit topping, syrup and butter and powdered sugar. My body doesn't need that on any day, let alone every day. Oh goodness. Yeah, that almost sounds like a whole waffle experience. And I mean, it's not that far away from it, right? They have. How have I never said snow thank you? New one unlocked for the chamber for next time. November 1st, officially the holiday season. I'm gonna break out my Christmas crockery. You can do what now? You're gonna be Christmasing. Do you have like lights you put up outside your house? I wonder. You know what's funny about that, Joy Vive? I love Christmas holidays, but I can't bring myself to start before Thanksgiving. I don't know when Thanksgiving is, unfortunately. Hey Google, when is Thanksgiving? Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds about right to me. The 23rd of November. That sounds about the right, because December is the Christmas month, right? You get a whole month, the whole December, starting starting the 2nd of November. For me, it's the mission, right? And like, at least from what I've noticed, those things get in the way more often than not. Or the cats end up destroying things. You've had that experience? Don't know it. We don't have Christmas trees. That's how. Yeah, not because that Africans don't do Christmas trees, just because my family established early on that putting up a Christmas tree instead of a cross is sacrilegious. So we've had a Christmas cross my whole childhood. You think I'm joking? Oh, you think this is funny? It's not funny. It's not funny. It's like bruh. From a young age, from a very young age, my mind has been going, bruh, bruh, come on, come on, bruh. I think the first time we had a Christmas cross was when I was 8, and it was my dad's idea, of course. And like the bruh was so loud in me because my cousins came to our house, and I was like, I was like feeling for them as well. I'm like, bruh, man, this doesn't feel right though. Man, I'm looking through that little version of mine's eyes right now, and he's so embarrassed. He's so embarrassed. He feels this sense of what's happening right now. Why is it like this? So that I can have this moment right now. Thank you. Thank you for your sacrifice, little me, bro, for holding it together. At that point, you can't say anything, right? If you ask questions like that, you receive a certain level of attention that is not appreciated at the Christmas gathering. Uh, how have I not said no? Thank you. Love again to you. I'm always confused. Me like, damn, you're all gonna do yoga and meditation every day, and then sit down for a huge carb loading breakfast. They balances out. Don't you know? Don't you know it balances out? My mom told me if you eat a sugar, you drink a Diet Coke to cancel it out. I shouldn't be saying stuff like that. That's that line that I heard on reality TV. And it shook me to my core. It made me extremely concerned. It made me realize that the biggest thing that is hurting people is just like they don't get taught any better, or they get taught deliberately wrong. And that might even be happening more than not being taught better, right? Isn't that a trip? No, 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 no. Me too, Kristen. I'm impatient. I can't wait until Thanksgiving. I'm happy that you're enjoying the season, though, JV. Get merry. Now start the Nightmare Before Christmas season. No, I don't really decorate. I'm too lazy. Okay. I absolutely love putting up fresh evergreen for Christmas this year. I'm going to screw it to the floor because my cat will be using it as a jump gym, no doubt. Yeah. No. What did I say? That is crazy, bro. It probably smells amazing. I can imagine that at least. I just don't know about the cleaning afterwards. Not my home, at least. Crockery plates, dishes, cups, other similar items, especially ones made of earthenware or china. I only decorate with things that are super easy to put back up. I've gotten pretty good at it. That is, pretty nice. Like that line of putting your cup away directly after using it, and having like things that fit in their little spaces. It really pushes a button. So, Joyviv, imagine like the corner of the room where the presents are put down, where you would have the Christmas tree. Instead of there being a Christmas tree, there's a cross decorated with lights and those fluffy those fluffy green looking things on a string. Oh, bruh. Oh, man. The amount of, like, what I call it, brain damage, you know, that has been induced. Manipulation, indoctrination. Maybe that's actually the right word. Yeah. Hopefully, I don't make the same mistakes. That might end up being a joke. It sounds like your family would be highly offended by our American Christmas excess. Yeah, that's a big pointed topic. Those Americans. I think I'm supposed to go like with Afrikaans accent. Those Americans are really fucking up, oh. They're really making mistakes right now. Die hoeveelheid oormatige geëet maak nie sin nie. Hoe kan jy? Hoe kan jy so baie? Wat wil jy geld? Yeah. It's very fun having conversations with people who think themselves other. We find ourselves in such a interesting time. It's like this desperate willingness to hold on to our separateness. You know why? And this is why spitballing. Because we don't want to mind the ants. Right? Like I feel maybe there's a part of us that realizes it's a slippery slope. Right? Because as soon as we recognize ourselves as a unity on earth, we have to mind the ants as well. Right? We have to recognize that maybe everything is a part of this unity. And that we should be mindful of that. And I feel like maybe that's what's keeping us back. Like this unwillingness to do that hard work that's gonna come with accepting ourselves as one. That feels really true to me in saying it. I like it. I'll put it in the ether. Maybe one day it'll be a part of a supercut of all of the things that has been said. Kristen for seeing a zoom, 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 zoom. Do patient, decorate. Culture shock for sure. I was thinking about how blasphemous Christmas is anyway. Yeah, taking what was supposed to be the Savior's birthday and turning it into an excuse to consume. It's blasphemous because it's a pagan holiday that was reworked as the pagans would convert to Christianity, literally. But again, don't talk about that stuff. We're just gonna, and we're gonna come together, and there's gonna be so much food, and there's gonna be presents, and there's gonna be Christmas crosses. of course. Right? The whole baby in the manger story as well that we're told every single year. Layers. And then like the association with like getting presents. So you're like in a hyper alert state. So there's like the best chance for them to indoctrinate, right? Because you're getting that high dopamine environment of like, oh, I hear this story and then I get rewarded big time, right? Big time reward. And then over and over again for like maybe the first 9 years, 10 years. If you're lucky, 11 years of your life and your Christmases is like, yeah, this is the best. And then you start really settling into your ego and you're like, wait a second, I want certain things. And then that is when Christmas starts to suck. Right? And at that point you're either too deep with the whole what you believe, or that's the point at which you start to go, what? I don't think so, actually. I'm not so sure about all of this. But I love the season. Buddy, the elf style. I've just like y'all come up with the cluster. Can we just love each other? Buddy, I didn't realize that, Joy. I was just thinking how far Christmas was from Christ. Yeah, very much so. And apparently, like that's another thing that they don't like is the fact that it can be like an X and then MAS. Right? They're like, yeah, they're trying to take Christ out of it. I'm like, bro, it's not about that anymore. A long time ago, it hasn't been about that. That means it's time to watch the elf season. Just punch myself in the brows trying to catch my phone drop. Did you catch your phone still? No. That's even worse. Do you have like a traditional present in South Africa for Christmas? Traditional present? Clothing. If you don't need anything, technically, you're probably gonna get clothing. I got a fair share of clothing in my life. Uh, I remember one of my presents being like this. It's like a customization sticker set. So you had like a bunch of different car body shapes, and then you had a bunch of stickers, and it's like uh, transparent plastic with like printing on them, and then you had like these transparent stickers with like black outlinings, and then you could like customize these bodies with the wheel stickers and like the spoilers and the superchargers and the super cool body kits. You could like put all of these stickers on your DC Fix see-through plastic, and then you could put it in this little container that had a backlight, and then you could put a piece of paper over that, and then you could trace those cars that you made. My little kid brain was on fire. I was like, this is so sick. This is so cool. I love it so much. Unfortunately, eventually the stickers didn't want to stick properly anymore, and they started gaining textures, making it harder for me to keep straight lines. And I was like, damn it, my technology is failing me. Now I'm super into the the technology, being like, yes, now I can drag and drop little wheels infinitely, and my tools never get get ruined for it. Okay, just punished. Love again to you, bro. Caught it, but now I feel pukey, bro. One of those, man. Christmas presents. Oh, not Christmas presents. Christmas presents. We just like the diminutive. It's a super far reach to say that we're trying to out Christ by using Xmas. I know, but that's I've heard them say that at our Christmas parties, right? Like I've heard this like, have you seen what they're doing? Have you seen it? And then I'm like, what's easier? What's easier? Have you tried writing out Christmas versus Xmas? Zma. Zme. Zmes. Right? That's like the fractal you have to follow versus enemies can come up and them up. Yeah, put it how you may, convenience for the sake. Amara gets winter clothes for Christmas and her summer clothes for her birthday in June with family. It's so helpful. And I'm so grateful for clothes, for her work, out this way from family. Bless. That sounds so beautiful, actually. Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with it, right? Clothing. Eva's losing her mind. So much fun. So much fun being a dogger. I'm not jealous. You're jealous. I don't like getting punched in my chest. Well, sorry myself, but your underpaws. Bless. I'm sure it'll be okay with the bear. Maybe like put some ice on it. I don't know if you have access to any. Maybe you can just go outside, bro. Let yourself be. Eventually, there will be enough heat transfer. Heal them up a little bit. You done, Pepperkis? All right. Chesticles. Let's pull a card, shall we? Let's pull a card. Let's see what sacred geometry has to say. This one. I always enjoy getting new clothes for Christmas myself. Also toys. What other toys did I get that I was super stoked about? I got a Spider-Man squirt gun when I was like 9. Strapped to your wrist, and you could press a button, and that button press would open the hole of a can of like silly foam. It would like squirt a line of silly foam, and I would squirt lines of silly foam. The instant thing that I was not stoked about, and this is what I was like ruined, like for toys, because I was like happier about opening that box than I've ever been in my life, because I was like, this is fucking sick. I'm freaking Spider-Man squirt gun. Because in my mind, I was going to be able to squirt gun, silly foam something, and then at the very least, if I cannot pull myself forward and fly through the air with it, I would at least be able to pull it back to me. Maybe I could squirt gum, silly foam, something on the ground and pick it up or something. But no, it was in fact just squirt gun, silly foam. And as soon as it hit something, it could basically disintegrate by rubbing on it. I think that toy was done for by the end of the day, because I was like, well, I guess I'm just gonna squirt gun some things. What more is there to do? Upside down, card number 7. Trinity, mother, father, and child. Did Francine Hart make other decks? A bunch. They actually have names up here. She made the Sacred Geometry Oracle deck. She made the Sacred Geometry of Nature. She made the Sacred Geometry Coloring Book. She made the complete Lenormand Oracle Handbook. She made the Inner Child cards. She made the Mayan Oracle. She made Nordic runes. I need to get that one. Oh no! I'm getting bamboozled. I'm getting straight up bamboozled. These aren't by her. The first 3 were. The rest aren't. Because I was only reading the names and not reading the titles. But yeah, the first 3. Sacred Geometry Oracle Deck, Sacred Geometry of Nature, Sacred Geometry Coloring Book are some of the other books that she's made. And then this one. Sacred Geometry cards for the Visionary Path. I think she might have more. but I am not sure. Bless her heart. This book came out in 2008. This deck came out in 2008. So it is actually relatively old, right? It's 10 years younger than me. 15-year-old deck of cards. Yeah, got some energy. Seen some shit. No heartbreaks like a 9-year-old. Oh yeah, that's true actually. Little boat, new clothes. No heartbreaks like a 9. Like you're just aware enough to understand the pain, but not aware enough or emotionally mature enough to able to know how to deal with it. So you're just decimated. One more time. These symbols are going to be important later. In the corners and at the bottom. Triangle. I did mention the little triangle I saw the kitties arranged in when I gave them pets. And they allowed me to notice the difference in experience. Mother, father, and child. 3 is a holy divine number often associated with Christianity as the Trinity of Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. Here, Trinity is transposed to the holy divine creation of family, mother, father, and child. This downward-facing triangle symbolizes a receptivity to the commitment of your sacred lineage. A triangle of symbols form the Mayan Tzolk'in. From the Mayan Tzolk'in embodies this intimate trinity. Amawa designated the son and the father aspect of God. Imix is the feminine aspect of God, the mother who nurtures, and creates form. Ik is the wind who blows life and humor into being through breath. Pulling this card asks you to open to a greater understanding of the way you relate to your family, whether it is blood family or the community you call kin. Create in your mind a vision of peace, harmony, and respect. Allow the child at the center of this card to spiral you into appreciation of the ones you call family. Breathe love and humor into this holy trinity. Open your heart and offer yourself to a receptive flow of affection coming not only from your birth family, but also from all your relations. Honor your connection to and feel love also for the family of humankind. I did pull the card reversed, and it goes as such. Separation and alienation are aspects of old paradigm thinking that you will release as you come to realize you are one with all that is. Wasn't that literally the point we were coming to with minding the ants? Nice. Okay. Okay. Cool. Cool. Fine. Cool. Fine. Cool. It's cool and fine. It's so fine and cool. No, we still aren't emotionally equipped to deal with heartbreak. Yeah, I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's true necessarily. I get it, but I don't know if it's true. Because we do get better at dealing with, the emotional side of things. It is a lot of practice. But as you keep living, I do believe you get better at it. I don't know if you get good, but it's a deal. My name is Duck, and I paddle a boat. Paddle, paddle, boat. Paddle, paddle. My name is Duck. I have a boat, so I'm gonna paddle, 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 paddle. Gonna get my bum out of the freezing cold water. I'm gonna get my bump. So I'm paddle, 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 paddling. Paddle, 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 paddling. Love to hear Brother Duck that. Stay dry, bro, as much as you can. Let's play some kalimba to finish off today's stream. We'll do 3 minutes and 33 seconds. Bruh, I'm sorry. Only about more than halfway through, I realized that I was only using my one microphone. My microphones are not fully charged, so they don't automatically turn themselves on. My bad. I hope the audio wasn't bad, like completely unaudible for the first while. At least we got to have the end of it a little bit louder. Underballs. Sounds like a bad, sequel to Underdog. Underballs. It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's underballs. Okay. I'm gonna wait for my Shan message. Maybe stay quiet for a bit. I still see butterflies. There it starts. The laughing message is flowing in. I like how I'm supposed to be silent. Not even that. It's like, yeah, I'll make sound some way. Don't you worry. There it is. Okay, I'm ready. Now you as well. Absorb these words, right? Maybe I should say these ones first. Dear water molecules that are being hit by this exact combination of vibrations, be it through earphone, cell phone speaker, car stereo. Vibrate all water molecules in this vicinity with the loving energy that this message is intended with. Jazeel joining us too. Sorry, I almost started, but Jazeel joins us too and is sending us all lovin's. Look forward to having you there. Jazeel, blessings. Have the mostest beautifulest day, everyone. I for seriously love you all. So, very, very superest duperest, sizably, substantially, mega mightily, massively, whoppingly, enormously, dearly, beloved, genuinely, giftedly, golden heartedly, glowing, melt more. And all of you, oh so very, very, incredibly, wonderfully, breathtakingly, charmingly, conscientiously, optimistically, open, opulently, sensationally snazzy, gorgeously, glitteringly, glowingly, magically, magical, divine, absolutely precious friends that lovingly mind the ants. Thank you, Shan, for taking all of that time to send us all such a loving message. That made you make What made you make this in days? Rima, it is consecutive. So I started one day with day one, and I haven't stopped. And now today happens to be day 1036. Yes. And it's just going to keep going. Every day that I do a day, I get a day. Sounds easy. So I like easy things, so I'm gonna do that. Prima, blessings to you, friend. Thank you for asking, for joining. She's just saying hi. I don't think she's asking questions. She's being like, "Yay!" It's nice having you here. I thank you, friends. Your content is great. Bless you, dear, dear friend. Thank you for saying that. That warms my heart. I hope to continue making it. Continue sharing love, showing up for this world we're trying to build by bringing our little lights into what we concern or we are concerned with or consider the dark. I love you, friends, so much. Thank you for joining me. I'll be here again real soon. Oh, tomorrow. So we can do another day. I love you, friends. Sending you blessings. Goodbye, everybody.